In a world where one woman tries to start a podcast,
how will I ever do this on my own?
She thought she would have to get expensive equipment.
What? I can do all of this on a free app?
She thought she would have to find creation tools all over the internet.
You mean it can all be contained in an app on my phone and computer?
She thought she would have to do all her own distribution.
You mean to tell me this app is going to send it to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all those other platforms for me?
She thought she would never make any money.
I don't have to wait for a minimum listenership to monetize?
She thought that she would have to find all kinds of different equipment and pieces.
But I'm going to download this free Anchor app and get started today.
Visit Anchor.fm and download the free Anchor app to be just like her, the ultimate podcaster.
Hello and welcome to the Lou Review. This is Rosa and I'm here with Brittany Cummings. She is a local business owner who started her food business during the pandemic. And so I need you to know about this brave woman and her journey that she's been through. And we'll talk about the different foods that she makes and then also maybe what she wishes she knew beforehand, and also what advice she has for anybody else looking to start a business. So, Brittany, would you like to start us off by talking about what is Wichin pizza?
So, Wichin pizza is literally sandwiching pizza together. I just shortened the word sandwiching because it's a lot to say. So,
it is.
It's basically just taking 2 pieces of sourdough bread, prepping them up like you would a normal pizza, baking them, and then putting them together and making a sandwich.
So then you have pizza topping type interiors to these sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not like calzones.
No, it's not like baked inside, but it's just like a sandwich. So
and it's not pizza doughy. It's sourdough bread.
Sourdough, exactly.
Mm-hmm. You had kind of a journey finding the right bread for this, didn't you?
I did, because I tried a few different kinds, but the one that I use now is very sturdy, and I think that was the most important thing with these sandwiches.
Because your sandwiches are heavy.
Heavy, yes, and I didn't want them to be too messy, which depending on what you want on it, it can still get messy,
but you didn't want the bread like literally disintegrating in your hand.
Or getting soggy, or and then because of the concept, which we'll touch on, I wanted it to travel well, so that was really important too, to have something that traveled really good.
Exactly, because if it's getting soggy, that's just not going to be a duplicatable process.
Nope.
So at Wichin Pizza, you have the sandwiches that have pizza interiors, and then you also make some killer wings. What flavors are you doing at wings right now?
So I have garlic, lemon pepper. I have the bourbon glazed. I have, oh my gosh, my new favorite is the sweet chili teriyaki.
Oh, I still haven't had that one.
Amazing.
Okay.
And I never wanted to really toot my own horn, but they are just really good flavor, profile. It's amazing. And then I do a peri peri wing, which is very spicy.
What is peri peri?
It's like, I want to say like a African spice or sauce.
Do you get it from like an African store or something?
No.
Or okay.
No. And it's just like a sauce, but I think that the spice brings that, like, you can sauce any wing, but it's the spices that you marinate and put into it that really bring out the profile. And so those are the spiciest wings that I've personally ever made.
Okay. Is that like your maximum of how much you can eat too?
That is, yes. It's like one of those, and then like when you eat something spicy, and then after you get through the initial spicy, you just keep craving the spicy. Like, oh, so that's those wings. Yeah. And then I also have, I'm gonna do like a honey hot or honey barbecue. So I just play around with different things.
Because you said you like hot honey wings. We were talking about that last time.
We were.
That's right. We're gonna shout out Posey's now. They have some good hot honey wings. She's gonna try to see if she can do it, y'all. So we might have to have them go head to head. Pour us the taste testers. Now, I don't know if their wings are fried or what, but yours are baked.
Yes.
Okay. And when I brought these wings home to my husband, he was like, the garlic lemon pepper wings were the best he said he'd ever had. Like, I like smoked wings and he doesn't. And so I've been getting a lot of smoked wings at different places and he's like, they're okay or whatever. But then he had your garlic lemon pepper ones and he was like, these are so good. I ended up getting him 2 dozen for his birthday. Okay. Because it was such a like enjoyable thing. That's what he wanted for his birthday was your wings. So thank you.
I'm so honored that he wanted those for his birthday. I'm glad I could pull that off, and they were on point.
They did think so. I mean, I came back down later and thought I wanted one, and they had eaten them all. They were having a game night, and those boys tore into them. So they like your cooking. You got a good mama's cooking flavor going on here. Let's talk about how you got started with all this. Have you grown up working in restaurants and gone to culinary school, or how'd you get started?
Absolutely not. I wish that was my story, but mine is very just organic in life. I just go through life and do what I do. But
I love your story.
Yeah, I've had like maybe 2 food related jobs in my life. My passion has always been kids. My passion has always been special needs adults and kids. So this was a completely different trajectory for me. And so as I grew up and had my own children, cooking became a part of my repertoire because they have to eat.
I'm so proud of you for feeding your children. I mean,
so much.
That is a priority.
I think I'm accomplished at this point.
But you not only fed them, you made it something that they like.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have 2 children, and there's a almost 7-year gap between the 2. So my son was around and growing by the time my baby girl was a toddler.
His appetite had increased.
His appetite was getting crazy, and she's still on formula and baby food. So I focused in on how can I make food like filling for him. And so I used to take little frozen pizzas that I would buy from like a Save-A-Lot grocery store, just circular pizzas. And I would put different things on them frozen, but I would put little toppings on them, and I would bake them. And then I would put them together as a sandwich. And it was this circular sandwich, but he would just tear into it and loved it, right?
Yeah.
And so we would do that ever so often. And anyhow, so fast forward to 2019, we were just kind of laying there, and he was talking to me like normal. And he was like, Mom, like, you should make those pizza sandwiches. And I was like, the fact that you even remembered that is...
Because there was years where he didn't get any.
Yeah, because this was from like 7 or 8 years old to now 13. Okay. You know, so this was like a 5-year gap. And
wow.
I forgot.
It made an impression on him.
Right, because then, you know, that was a different time, you know, when you just making it, you know, barely making ends meet, and you're really trying to like stretch everything out and make everything filling. So now we just kind of were in a different place. So the fact that he remembered it was very interesting. But I instantly thought, like, if it was impressionable on him, how impressionable could it be on other people? Because it's not something that people have at their disposal. You don't walk in a restaurant and say, let me get a pizza sandwich.
And apparently it's really confusing for people.
Yes, it is.
Because, like, I showed a picture of your sandwiches to my husband before I went to go get some the first time. And he was like, why are you going to get sandwiches from a pizza place? I'm like, no, it's a pizza sandwich. And I thought that was clearly communicated. And then I brought him back leftovers because, like you said, they're filling. And I was full. And then I handed it to him, and he was like, I thought you were bringing me back pizza. I'm like, eat it and taste the pizza. Like, it's in the sandwich, okay? And like you said, didn't you get like a lot of pushback initially from people who just didn't get the concept?
Yeah. Yep. And the pushback was, we're just not gonna buy it. We're not gonna buy it. We're not gonna try it. And like, I had even
which you would think pizza's such a familiar food. It shouldn't have this mental block of, oh, it's a new thing I can't try.
And it's so funny because I started developing it, and, you know, just like that research development phase. And then I started like testing them out and giving them to my friends and whatever for like donations or whatnot. So anyhow, this was at the end of 2019. Then I started to see like Papa John's come out with theirs, and like a frozen pizza melt type of thing. It looks exactly like my sandwich, just a smaller version.
Yeah.
And so there's no way that they got that from me, but I knew ahead of time that this was something that was completely untapped in the food industry that needed to be tapped into.
Right, because they saw that there's a need, there's a market for it.
Absolutely. There is a need to make comfort food more convenient. You can go and get pizzas from anywhere, but you're not going to get pizza sandwiches from anywhere. And to be able to eat it on the go was really where, you know, I was trying to serve a need.
Yeah.
So
you were already in like a business learning phase at this time, right? When did you start that? What class were you taking?
So I was a part of I always get tongue twisted with it, but it's an entrepreneurship course through Chef Space. That was I started that in the summer of 19. Like literally, it was like June. We had this idea. I connected with Louisville Forward because I had to get this idea to somebody that could kind of navigate me in which way to go.
Yeah.
They then, you know, sat down with me, gave me like some templates to get my business model down, and they said, hey, like, there's this course going on through Chef Space. You should definitely register for it.
Nice.
So I was in that by July. And then it was a 10-week course. So I essentially graduated in October. And it was super beneficial because it really kind of honed in on what it was I was trying to do. And it made everything so much clearer, and by the end of the course you had a plan. So they brought in different professionals and different people that are in the industry that can give you like a wealth of knowledge. So they're like tapping it into human resources, food safety, branding, marketing. There was each week on this Saturday morning that was so early.
It was like 8 in the morning on Saturdays.
8 in the morning.
They wanted to make sure you were serious.
Yeah, seriously, like I think that's why they did it, because this is going to separate the people that's dedicated from the people that are not. And you know, through the course you've seen a few people drop off, but the ones that made it to the end, it was beautiful to see us get there. However, it was like they really took the time to make sure that each piece of this puzzle was connected by the time you left. So by that end date, you knew your plan and you was ready to execute it. You weren't ready for your plan to start during a pandemic that was coming months ahead.
But there was no knowing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they had some good like vision board time to like nail down what your goal was and what your brand was supposed to be, so you can have integrity with that. Do you feel like you learned everything you possibly could in that course, or do you feel like there's another session you could have used?
I definitely feel like, and I think we spoke about that, I really feel like the tax breakdown and a little more on the financial side could have been tapped into. I think it was glossed over a little, but you know, I've had to learn the hard way how that is very crucial. And
like taxes need to be harder,
like I think it's hard enough. Like, we not.
So maybe like a session with a CPA for a few hours to just be like, okay, how do I make this into a business? How do I not get in trouble for tax evasion?
Yes. Please. When should I file? Like, what should I file? Like, how do we set this up?
Because you knew when to file some things, like your quarterly, but what was it you were surprised by?
Well, it was really like when I set up my LLC and everything, I was ignorant to that process as well. But, you know, when you have a goal, you just want to do things, right? So I was doing things, but apparently when I set it up, I am supposed to file monthly. And so I was under the impression that I was filing every year.
Okay.
Like I would do my normal taxes. So this was very new to me.
Oh dear.
So when I got to, I say October of last year, I realized that my business was no longer incorporated officially because of the fact that I didn't do an annual review.
Oh.
I had no clue about that. It was due by like June. Did it this year.
Okay. You go, girl.
I learned.
Yeah. All right.
And then I wasn't like, I was filing my taxes, but I wasn't paying my taxes because, again, I thought it was just like a yearly bunched up thing. But you have a due date, and so also I've been adhering to that too, because the last thing I want to do is create this tax issue for myself. And there, you know, when you're a small business owner, and I really don't like saying small business owner, but when you're a business owner in the beginning, let's say that, everything falls on you. Yeah. So you're really having to prioritize everything. And that was one thing I thought was yearly, and I didn't know. So I learned that the hard way, and that's something I feel like I could have benefited off of if, you know, that would have been tapped into, like you said, with a CPA or, you know, something like that, or even somebody in the industry that's running a business to speak on that. You know, that would have even been helpful.
Well, maybe you're doing that for somebody else.
Now,
right. At this point, be like, be aware. Even if you're making $0 that month, you need to report your $0.
Didn't even know that.
I mean, what if there's negative dollars?
Yeah.
Do you need to tell them about that? Do they give you money if there's negative dollars?
No.
Oh, shoot. But you tested it, didn't you?
I tried. I tried. You're going to end up with negative dollars.
Oh, man.
It's going to happen.
Got to put it out there so people can find you. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you are working out of a community kitchen. Is that owned by Chef Space?
That is not. So when I initially started out, because I went ahead with my launch even during the pandemic, and I knew for a fact I wanted to work out of Chef Space. It's like a state-of-the-art facility, and it's beautifully laid out, and it's very, very beneficial, especially just even renting on an hourly basis and things like that, which I did.
Wow, okay.
But it still wasn't feasible, and I was not going to sustain myself, even in my personal life, by spending the money I was spending there, not making any money in the beginning. So I set out to just take a break, kind of let this, because I think everybody collectively thought this was going to blow over in like a couple months. And so
kind of like the Ebola scare. It's like they lock up that nurse and it's fine.
And it's it. I thought that's where we were going.
Nope.
No.
This was different.
So different. So I gave myself a couple months to just step back, go back to my processes and work on things, but then also to try to find a new kitchen home, because I wanted to try to find somewhere more affordable that I could benefit off, benefit from, actually make some money.
Yes, that's important.
And then I found 240 Adams,
okay,
which much more affordable.
All right.
A very close-knit community or family environment in there where you have a collaborative. Let me use that word.
It's a collaborative kitchen.
That's what it
not
says.
Just a community kitchen. It's a
collaborative. That's the word I was looking for, because you really are working amongst some amazing food business owners where they have food trucks or mobile food businesses, and they've been doing it for years. And for new people that are coming in, you really are going to absorb, even if you don't absorb the knowledge, you're going to absorb the energy. You're going to absorb the, the good feel, the good vibe, because, and you're going to know that you're going to have your up days, you're going to have your down days. You get the real side of it.
It's like a mentorship. Versus a class where they're like going to give you a bullet point list versus this is how the lifestyle works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of running a business.
Yeah, so it went from, I'm saving some money now and I can make some money, to, no, I'm really like getting real life experience, knowledge, and it's helping me grow and build everything, and they all have been super helpful. So it's owned by the owners of Smoking Cantina food truck.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so Heather and Noah Yates, and they are amazing at what they do on the truck, but running that facility is, I know it's a handful and a half, but they do it very well, and they are very helpful, with their tenants too. So if there's any event or if there's any lead they might have, they are passing it to whomever, and if they can't do something, they'll like, hey, and all of us in there do that. And I just think
good.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. That way you're not even really competing with each other. Because like you said, you're meeting different needs, but also you can't serve everybody in the city.
Yes.
So you're like, I can't even go to this event because I can't be in 5 places at once. Can you go? And that way, that way you can put each other's information out there.
Absolutely.
And network. You share some of other businesses' goods at Wichin Pizza as well, right? Some other dessert items.
Yes. So to start, I have very early on when I got to 240, I started selling Lady J's lemonade, which I still carry to this day, and I will carry. Because I think the city of Louisville has really, really opened their arms to that brand and that company, and everybody loves that.
Yeah, definitely.
Lemonade. So I've partnered with them, and then I also partnered with Big Nita's Cheesecakes, who is, first of all, killing it in every form that you could kill it in. I think the world of Nicole. Yeah. I really do. She's
like a trendsetter or something.
I mean, I've heard of different cheesecakes, but when I tell you, I heard about hers, and I knew I had to get them cheesecakes.
Yes.
Because of how people took to them. And I hadn't even tried them. Yeah. So but I just knew that they were sellers, and I need to, so when I reached out to her and I said that I was the first business that she worked with and put it in, which she actually is in another business in Indiana now.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when I got with her, it was like, we hit that one out of the park, and just to offer those slices, I was starting to tap into, new customers that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, because they knew they could come get a slice from you instead of ordering a whole cheesecake from her. Yeah.
And I was getting people that was just ordering cheesecake. I'm not going to knock you for that. I understand why.
Yes. Sometimes.
Come and get them.
And I mean, it's probably enough calories for a good meal. So,
same difference.
I mean, but she makes all different flavors of cheesecake. Like, I didn't even know you could combine these things, but I am a kind of person where if you combine cream cheese with something, I assume it's going to be better. So I'm on board for this.
Same. And make it sweet.
Everything.
And so I haven't, I miss her cheesecake so much, actually, but when I went into, I took June to kind of focus in on the pop-up part of it, because I started to transition now into a different venture. So I was like, I need to try to bring in some money. I want to get around town, you know. So I went into this pop-up, and I don't feel comfortable taking her cheesecake on the road.
I think you were talking about melting on the side of the road.
I don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that.
That's really
disrespectful
really
to her cheesecake.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
how do your pop-ups work? You said you got some new financing for supplies for the pop-up, right?
Yes.
You want to shout that out?
Absolutely. So I went through a process with an organization called Access Ventures, but it kind of closely connected me to El Home, which is a CFDI. What is a community?
CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution.
Okay.
We had to Google it and find their Facebook page to find our terms here.
Yeah, but they so graciously provided me with a micro grant. That was my first grant, and that was my first. I know people believe in me and believe in what I'm doing, but to put a monetary amount on that of any kind, I don't care how much it is, that really is like showing the faith that you have in me and what I'm doing. And I use that micro grant money to purchase the things that I needed for a pop-up. So the tent, the tables, the generator, there's like some hot plates there, you know. I bought a POS system, like all these different things.
What does POS stand for? I'm sorry.
Point of sale. I had to think about it for 2 seconds.
Because I was like, my first thought can't be what you meant, because why would you pay for that? But okay.
You could get those for free.
Yeah, that's what I had a feeling about. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I got those, and you know, I also want to shout out Bomba Egg Roll Company, who I think working alongside Rudy and watching his work ethic was amazing. Yeah. But what he would pour into me as far as the pop-ups, because that's how he got to his food truck. He didn't go the route that, you know, a lot of us go with trying to get loans or whatever. He did it himself.
Okay.
And I have so much respect for that, because he did his pop-ups, and he will be, I felt like he lived at that kitchen for real. And I was like, like, did you go home, Rudy? Are you sure? And so anyhow, he really is the one that was like, you need to get out here. You need to go here. You need to go there. You know,
I'm sure he knows all the places to go.
He linked me to Shop Bar. He's like, you need to go here. Like, he really, really helped me transition into that. And I'm like, Rudy, I don't want to do pop-ups, man. I'm sorry. So when he transitioned to his food truck, he sold me his, you know, his stuff, like his equipment. Well, some of it. And so I was very, very honored at that, because I'm like, this is what got you to where you are, you know, and
it's like a legacy.
Exactly. Aww. I even took over his shelf in the kitchen. Like, he's like, you in my spot now. I'm like, I know, right? Like, so you just feel like you kind of moving up.
It's like your work daddy.
Yes.
That's cute.
So, and we're like almost the same age, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, because the legacy aspect.
The legacy aspect. And so anyhow, so then the pop-ups is where I just go around to different, I really like going to like the breweries or bars or something like that, where people,
places that don't have food.
Yes, and they're willing to drink and wait, because with me, you know, I'm not, my food is not readily available.
It's not fast food, you mean?
It's not fast food. It's going to be good food, but it's not fast food. So, I just have to, I really like those things, but to be able to go into like neighborhoods that usually have food trucks, but I can set up a tent and serve my food, and, so, and I run like a special pop-up menu, so I don't run, like, I don't have every sandwich that I offer. I don't have every thing I offer, but, you know, just something to say, oh, like, this is what this is.
Yeah.
So then later on down the road, when it's time to order, you know,
then
so
they have that
marketing kind of.
It's not scary, this pizza sandwich, like we were talking about. Yes. Where it makes more sense when you see it.
Yeah.
I feel like, and you see somebody else tasting it, and you're like, oh, this is normal.
Absolutely.
And I think you did get some good recognition in the city recently. You were published.
Yes. So, especially since we last talked, Haley with Louisville Business first reached out to me and was letting me know about their upcoming edition, where they were going to do like a SWOT analysis on the market.
And what is a SWOT analysis? Is that like police officers? Like, what is that?
Like the SWAT team?
Yeah.
So
you're the food SWAT team?
It's basically like an acronym for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And you use that when you are analyzing the marketing aspect of your business, and or the market in general. So when you are trying to see how can I best serve this market, you want to look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities that are there, but also the threats. So you can see how to approach it and be successful in it.
Oh, wow.
And so when she reached out to me to be a part of that and be one of the businesses represented in that analysis, I didn't care which letter I fell into. I was like, absolutely. Right? And so that was published back in March of this year. And, you know, I've done different interview things and podcast things. And, you know, I love all of it, honestly. But that was the one I felt most proud of.
Well, sure, because of the association.
Oh,
right?
My gosh. And like we were talking prior to, like, I was in the same edition, and it's Kent.
Okay.
Kent is his name, I believe.
The
owner of Texas Roadhouse. After he passed, this edition came out. And to be in the same edition with somebody that's essentially a legend when it comes to food in the food industry, and what he did, and learning about his story, and that Texas Roadhouse started from just scribbling down on a napkin, and in this town, it was so inspiring. And it was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in this edition with him, and that was huge for me. And then even the write-up was just, I mean, it was modest. It was me. It wasn't overzealous and you know, this, that, and the third.
Flashy,
it's like,
or whatever.
It's showing this is normal growth. This is, you know, a woman that has a passion, that has a dream, and this is what she's doing. And it just so happened that I was serving in the weakness area of the SWOT analysis.
And what was the weakness you were serving?
So basically, it was like with coming off the back of the pandemic and a lot of brick and mortars, you know, everything was very detrimental to them on so many different levels. So to be in the virtual Erie concept, it's really serving that purpose of, okay, we see this weakness where, you know, if economy crashes or if something happens, it's going to really affect a lot of these brick and mortars. This concept is going to serve a great purpose no matter what happens.
Because you deliver.
People
come and pick it up from you, and you don't have a lot of overhead of maintaining a space for people to come dine in.
Absolutely. I don't have the same, you know, front of house staff, back of house staff. So, you know, a lot of people were without jobs, and it was so horrible what happened. But to be able to see the weakness and see how can I serve in that weekness.
Because people still got to eat.
And
a whole bunch of people are not like you. They can't cook.
Right.
Right. So it's like, am I going to have Little Caesars, or I'm going to upgrade and have like a mama level pizza on a sandwich?
On a sandwich.
That's
so,
what's up.
Yep. So that's how I kind of fit into that. And I was very honored to be in the talks of, you know, we were, $1 million business owners.
Wow.
And so just to be in this company.
But you were the cutting edge.
I know it.
How about that, Miss
it was
Brittany?
different. Yeah, it was so different and just, it was awesome.
Well, you deserve it, and I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Because you definitely deserve it. And let's see, we talked about how you got started with the class and the taxes, and Louisville Forward really helped you with planning your vision for this. Let's see, you got started during the pandemic with a contest at home, right? Didn't you work on a Sammy's in your jammies type of?
Oh, so no, that was
what was that?
That was awesome. That was through Yelp Louisville.
Oh yeah,
that was oh my goodness, last year sometime, but this was after I had already been operating and been at 240. And Emily with Yelp reached out to me and was like, hey, like, we want you to be a part of this virtual, you know, hot new in Lou series. And I was like, yes, okay.
That sounds just like me, hot and new and new. Okay.
So I was able to sit with my daughter and we just set up in our kitchen and we were making sandwiches at home and people were making them along with us.
Like a Zoom call type thing?
Yeah.
Or Facebook Live or something?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it was. But it was so beautiful because there were people from all across the country.
Whoa.
That were watching, that were cooking along, that were like, oh, we need this here. And it was just the most beautiful, like, collective for me. So to be able to sit with her and do this and have fun with it and see them, and then after they were like tagging Wichin Pizza in their photos from what they made at home, because I gave them a list and I'm like, but you can do whatever you want. You don't have to make it. That's the fun thing about it.
Do you have to wear some onesies, pajamas to make these sandwiches?
I feel like it's probably not going to be the same if you don't.
That's what you try to tell your son anywhere. You're like, hey, 15-year-old boy, get down here in your jammies.
And he refused.
Aww.
But me and Brittany was front and center with our onesies.
She's a good partner.
Yes, she is.
Your little mini-me.
Yep. I love it.
That is awesome. Did those sandwiches end up being kind of like grilled cheese or something for a lot of people, or?
They did, but they looked so amazing. And I think that,
you melt some cheese, I'm going to be happy.
Exactly. Like, they were using like regular white bread, and it was just like a regular grilled cheese. And it's funny because when I first sat down and I made my plan, that's what I wanted to do, grilled cheese.
Put some stuff in there.
Yeah. But pizza grilled cheese. And I'm like, that's still very innovative because you don't really see it a lot.
Sure.
But I ended up making something so much better.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's very, very girthy. And then,
that's a good word.
They are.
These sandwiches got girth. They are thick.
Yes. So
that's why she got the strong sourdough.
There's many times I want to go back to that. Because I just feel like they're so big. but once you've been doing it for a while, people grow into what you do. And, the beautiful blessing in this is that I've had a lot of people that have tried my food and came back.
Yes.
So now they're going to come
us.
back. Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
so now you're going to come back for either what I had or better. You can't go backwards. So I just kept them the same.
Well, and it's just so hard for me to go back to anywhere, even if I love it, just because my list of restaurants to go to is always growing. And then people send me their list and they're like, you got to try all these places. And I'm like, one day I almost had a panic attack because I was like, I'm never going to make it to all the restaurants.
Oh my God.
And so I had to like scale back. It's okay. You're in the moment. But, so the fact that we came back to you for Richard's birthday wings means it really was that outstanding because we had tried quite a few between that time frame.
That's an honor.
So, yeah.
That's an honor.
And then do you have any advice for people starting their own business that you feel like would just apply to anybody in any kind of business?
Yep. And it will always be the same. Never will not be the same. Do not be afraid to fail. And I think that that's crucial for me. So that's always going to be my piece of advice because there's so much failing that's involved with being successful. Yeah. And if you're afraid to fail, it's almost like you're saying you're afraid to succeed. And so all of the greats have went through that. You know, I really think that that's the biggest piece of advice that I have for people. And just put yourself out there and just do. Yeah. You know, if you're sitting back thinking of something or planning something or whatever, you take that first step in action, it's going to be followed by the next step. And then next thing you know, you're going to look back and you've already taken 1,000 steps and you're like, what did I do? Yeah. You know, and, you know, I'm nowhere near where I want to be with my business. I see so much growth and potential, and I'm nowhere near that. And I have my setbacks and I have my pitfalls, but every day I still just keep taking a step. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we got to do. Like, you got to fail more to win more, right? Absolutely. People who win are just those who failed more than people who quit. Yes. Because people, you have such a negative connotation with failing. Yeah. Because of how you may feel or how others may see you and react to it or whatnot. But, you know, if you look at the positive side of it, you see that you learned something with just... Case in point, the taxes. I learned something. Yeah, you did. And I made sure that everything was filed, everything is done moving forward. Yeah. And so And you won't forget. I won't ever. I wrote it down like a few times. Right. We're not doing that. It's like Thomas Edison said, I found 100 ways that it wouldn't work. And then I found Tesla's way and it worked. So I'm taking that one. That's it. That's it. So that's the biggest thing, just knowing that you're learning and you're growing, and you know, as long as you keep going after failing, then you're getting one step closer, and that's how you succeed. You know, you just keep going. Well, I think I am just always admiring you and your clarity of purpose. Like you said, you had this good mentorship to help you clarify your vision, and like every step of your food process is so purposeful and intentional. And then also just your spirit of how you see people, and you feel like every sandwich is made with love, because it is. And so thank you for putting that out in the world. And it's my pleasure. So I just think you deserve all of the attention and business from this. So thank you for making time for us today. And you guys check out Wichin Pizza. Like she said, 240 Adams is right outside the Lynn Family Stadium. So if you're going to a Louisville City football game or even a Bats game, you can swing, you know, order ahead, and you can pick it up there. Or do you still deliver within an 8-mile radius? Is that right? Yes, so I do within a 5-mile radius now. Okay. However, as I start to branch out, and I'm hoping to come back and do a podcast about my opening of my facility. Just a small kitchen that I will have, and I will be out in the south end of Louisville. So that will be amazing. And then I'll have a little bit of a bigger radius. But for right now, in this transitional phase, I'm just doing like a 5-mile radius.
That's awesome. Sweet. So they can find you online at Wichin Pizza on Instagram, Wichin Pizza on Facebook, and your website, is it wichinpizza.com?
Wichinpizza.com. Wichin Pizza everything.
Wichin.
Yes.
There's no T.
Oh my gosh.
There's no T. We're not casting spells here. It's a sandwich.
No T.
Okay. That's what it is. And you can check this podcast out at the Lou Review on Anchor or wherever podcasts are found, basically, because it distributes for us. And then I am still at Lou Food Reviews on Instagram, and it's officially The Lou Review on Facebook. But we have a website now, y'all. It's loureview.com. And I'm starting to put out blogs to kind of summarize these experiences, where we've got, I've been having photo albums on Facebook for like the Wichin Pizza photo album has like all the different foods we've tried from there. And if in the event like we go back and I got more wings from you, I just add that to that album. But I'm going to try to like provide summaries of different places, like in different categories and blog posts. So I'll be posting that on loureview.com. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening. Bye.